Nor yet the rage his boiling breast forsook, which thus redoubling on Atrides broke. O monster mixed with insolence and fear, thou dog in forehead but in heart a deer, when wert thou known in ambushed fights to dare, or nobly face the horrid front of war? 'Tis ours the chance of fighting fields to try, thine to look on and bid the valiant die. So much 'tis safer through the camp to go, and rob a subject than despoil a foe. Scourge of thy people, violent and base, sent in Jove's anger on a slavish race, who lost to sense of generous freedom past, are tamed to wrongs, or this had been thy last. Now by the sacred sceptre hear me swear, which never more shall leaves or blossoms bear, which severed from the trunk as I from thee, on the bare mountains left its parent tree, the sceptre formed from tempered steel to prove, an ensign of the delegates of Jove, from whom the power of laws and justice springs, tremendous oath inviolate to kings. By this I swear, when bleeding Greece again shall call Achilles, she shall call in vain. When flushed with slaughter Hector comes to spread the purpled shore with mountains of the dead, then shalt thou mourn the affront thy madness gave, forced to deplore when impotent to save, then rage in bitterness of soul to know this act has made the bravest Greek thy foe. He spoke, and furious hurled against the ground his sceptre starred with golden studs around. Then sternly silent sat, with like disdain, the raging king returned his frowns again, to calm their passion with the words of age. Slow from his seat arose the Pylian sage, experienced Nestor in persuasion skilled, words sweet as honey from his lips distilled. 2 generations now had passed away, wise by his rules and happy by his sway. 2 ages over his native realm he reigned, and now the example of the third remained, all viewed with awe the venerable man, who thus with mild benevolence began. What shame, what woe is this to Greece, what joy to Troy's proud monarch and the friends of Troy, that adverse gods commit to stern debate the best, the bravest of the Grecian state. Young as ye are, this youthful heat restrain, nor think your Nestor's years and wisdom vain. A godlike race of heroes once I knew, such as no more these aged eyes shall view. Lives there a chief to match Perthonius' fame, Dryas the bold, or Cineas' deathless name. Theseus endued with more than mortal might, or Polyphemus like the gods in fight. with these of old to toils of battle bred. In early youth my hardy days I led, fired with the thirst which virtuous envy breeds, and smit with love of honorable deeds. Strongest of men, they pierced the mountain born, raged the wild deserts red with monsters' gore, and from their hills the shaggy centaurs tore. Yet these with soft persuasive arts I swayed. When Nestor spoke, they listened and obeyed. If in my youth these esteemed me wise, do you young warriors hear my age advise? Atrides seized not on the mount the beauteous slave, that prize the Greeks by common suffrage gave. Nor thou, Achilles, treat our prince with pride. Let kings be just and sovereign power preside. Thee the first honors of the war adorn, like the gods in strength and of a goddess born. Him awful majesty exalts above the powers of earth and sceptred sons of Jove. Let both unite with well-consenting mind, so shall authority with strength be joined. Leave me, O king, to calm Achilles' rage. Rule thou thyself as more advanced in age. Forbid it, gods, Achilles should be lost, the pride of Greece and the bulwark of our host. This said, he ceased. The king of men replies, thy ears are awful and thy words are wise, but that imperious, that unconquered soul, no law can admit, no respect control. Before his pride must his superiors fall, his word the law, and he the Lord of all. Him must our hosts, our chiefs, ourselves obey. What king can bear a rival in his sway? Grant that the gods his matchless force have given, as foul reproach, a privilege from heaven. Here on the monarch's speech Achilles broke, and furious thus and interrupting spoke, tyrant, I well deserve thy galling chain, to live thy slave and still to serve in vain. Should I submit to each unjust decree, commit thy vassals, but command not me. Seize on my Briseis, whom the Greece has tombed, my prize of war yet tamely see resumed, and see secure no more Achilles draws his conquering sword in any woman's cause. The gods command me to forgive the past, but let this first invasion be the last. For know thy blood when next thou darest invade, shall stream in vengeance on my reeking blade. At this they ceased, the stern debate expired, the chiefs in sullen majesty retired. Achilles with the Patroclus took his way, where near his tents his hollow vessels lay. Meantime Atrides launched with numerous oars a well-rigged ship for Chrysa's sacred shores. High on the deck was fair Chrysis placed, and sage Ulysses with the conduct graced, save in her sides the hecatomb they stowed, then swiftly sailing cut the liquid road. The host to expiate next the king prepares, with pure lustrations and with solemn prayers. Washed by the briny wave, the pious train are cleansed and cast the ablutions in the main. Along the shore whole hecatombs were laid, and bulls and goats to Phoebus' altars paid. The sable fumes in curling spars arise, and waft their grateful odors to the skies. The army thus in sacred rites engaged, they trod still with the deepened resentment raged, to wait thus will two sacred heralds stood, Talthabius and Euerbates the good. Haste to the fierce Achilles' tent, he cries, then spare Briseis as our royal prize. Submit he must, or if they will not part, ourselves in arms shall tear her from his heart. The unwilling heralds act their lord's command, pensive they walk along the barren sands. Arrived the hero in his tent they find, with gloomy aspect on his arm reclined. At awful distance long they silent stand, loath to advance and speak their hard command. Decent confusion this godlike man perceived, and thus with accent mild began, with leave and honor enter our abodes, ye sacred ministers of men and gods. I know your message by constraint you came, not you, but your imperious lord I blame. Patroclus, haste thee fair Briseis bring, conduct my captive to the haughty king, but witness heralds and proclaim my vow, witness to gods above and men below. But first and loudest to your prince declare, that lawless tyrant who commands you bear, unmoved as death Achilles shall remain, through prostrate Greece shall bleed at every vein. The raging chief in frantic passion lost, blind to himself and useless to his host, unskilled to judge the future by the past, in blood and slaughter shall repent at last. Patroclus now the willing beauty brought, she in soft sorrows and in pensive thought, passed silent as the heralds held her hand, and oft looked back slow moving o'er the strand. Not so is lost the fierce Achilles bore, but sad retiring to the sounding shore. Over the wild margin of the deep he hung, that kindred deep from whence his mother sprung. There bathed in tears of anger and disdain, thus loud lamented to the stormy main. O parent goddess, since in early bloom thy son must fall by too severe a doom, sure to so short a race of glory born, great Jove in justice should the span adorn. Honor and fame at least the thunderer owed, and ill he pays the promise of a god. If yon proud monarch thus thy son defies, obscure my glories and resumes my prize, far from the deep recesses of the main, where aged ocean holds his watery reign, the goddess mother heard the waves divide, and like a mist she rose above the tide, beheld him mourning on the naked shores, and thus the sorrows of his soul explores. Why grieves my son? The anguish let me share. Reveal the cause and trust a parent's care. He deeply sighing said, to tell my woe is but to mention what you too well know. From Thebes sacred to Apollo's name, Aetion's realm our conquering army came, with treasure loaded and triumphant spoils, whose bright division crowned the soldiers' toils. But bright Chryseis' heavenly prize was led, by votes selected to the general's bed. The priest to Phoebus sought by gifts to gain his beauteous daughter from the victor's chain. The fleet he reached, and lowly bending down, held forth the scepter and the laurel crown, entreating all but chief implored for grace, the brother kings of Atreus' royal race. The generous Greeks their joint consent declare, the priest to reverence and release the fair. Not so Atrides, he with wonted pride, the Tsar insulted and his gifts denied. The insulted Tsar his god's peculiar care, to Phoebus prayed, and Phoebus heard the prayer. A dreadful plague ensues, the avenging darts incessant fly and pierce the Grecian hearts. A prophet then, inspired by heaven, arose, and points the crime and thence derives the woes. Myself the first, the assembled chiefs incline, to avert the vengeance of the power divine. Then rising in his wrath the monarch stormed, incensed he threatened and his taunts performed. With fair Chryseis to her sire was sent, with offered gifts to make the god relent. But now he sees Briseis' heavenly charms, and of my valor's prize defrauds my arms, defrauds the votes of all the Grecian trains, and service, faith, and justice plead in vain. But goddess, said thou, thy suppliant son attend, to high Olympus' shining court ascend, urge all the ties to former service owed, and sue for vengeance to the thundering god. Oft hast thou triumphed in the glorious boast, that thou stoodst forth of all the ethereal host, when bold rebellion shook the realms above, the undaunted guard of cloud compelling Jove. When the bright partner of his awful reign, the warlike maiden monarch of the main, the traitor gods by mad ambition driven, durst threat with chains the omnipotence of heaven. Then called by thee the monster Titan came, whom gods Briareus men Agamemnon name. Through wandering skies enormous stalked along, not he that shakes the solid earth so strong. With giant pride at Jove's high throne he stands, and brandished around him all his 100 hands. The frightened gods confessed their awful lord. They dropped the fetters, trembled and adored this goddess, this to his remembrance call. Embrace his knees at his funeral tribal fall. Conjure him far to drive the Grecian strain, to hurl up them headlong to their feet and main, to heap the shores with copious death and bring the Greeks to know the curse of such a king. Let Agamemnon lift his haughty head over his wide dominion of the dead, and born in blood that e'er he durst disgrace the boldest warrior of the Grecian race. Unhappy son, fair Thetis thus replies, while tears celestial trickle from her eyes. Why have I borne thee with a mother's throes, to fates averse and nursed for future woes? So short a space the light of heaven to view, so short a space and filled with sorrow too. O might from a parent's careful wish prevail, far, far from Ilion should thy vessel sail, and thou from camps remote the danger shun, which now, alas, too nearly threats my son. Yet what I can to move thy ill suit I'll go, to great Olympus crowned with fleecy snow. Meantime, secure within thy ships from far, behold the field, nor mingle in the war. The sire of gods and all the ethereal train, on the warm limits of the farthest main, now mixed with mortals, nor disdain to grace the feats of Ethiopia's blameless race. 12 days the powers indulge of genial right, returning with the 12th revolving light. Then will I mount the brazen dome and move the high tribunal of immortal Jove. The goddess spoke, the rolling waves unclosed. Then down the steep she plunged from whence it rose, and left him sorrowing on the lonely course, and left in wild resentment for the fair he lost. In Chrysa's port now sage Ulysses rode, beneath the deck the destined wisdom stowed. The sails they furled, they lashed the mast astride, and dropped their anchors, and the pennants tried. Next on the shore their hecatomb they land, Chrysa's last descending on the strand. Her thus returning from the furrowed main, Ulysses led to Phoebus' sacred fane, where at his solemn altar as the maid he gave to Chrysis, thus the hero said: Hail, reverend priest, to Phoebus' awful dome, a suppliant I from great Atrides come. Unransomed here receive the spotless fair, accept the hecatomb the Greeks prepare. And may thy God who scatters darts around, atoned by sacrifice desist to wound. At this the sire embraced the maid again, so sadly lost, so stately sought in vain. Then near the altar of the darting king, disposed in rank their hecatombs they bring. With water purify their hands and take the sacred offering of the salted cake, while thus with arms devoutly raised in air, and solemn voice the priest directs his prayer. God of the silver bow, thy ear incline, whose power encircles still the divine, whose sacred eye thy Tenedos surveys, and gilds fair Christ so with distinguished rays. If fired to vengeance at thy priest's request, thy direful darts inflict the raging pest, once more attend, avert the wasteful woe, and smile propitious, and unbend thy bow. So Chrysis prayed, Apollo heard his prayer, and now the Greeks their hecatomb prepare. Between their horns the salted barley threw, and with their heads to heaven's victims slew. The limbs they sever from the enclosing hide, the thighs selected to the gods divide. On these in double calls involved with art, the choicest morsels lay from every part. The priest himself before his altar stands, and burns the offering with his holy hands, pours the black wine, and sees the flames aspire. The youth with instruments surround the fire. The thighs the sacrificed and entrails dressed, the attendants assistants part, transfix and roast the rest. Then spread the tables, the repast prepare. Each takes his seat and each receives his share. When now the rage of hunger was repressed, with pure libations they conclude the feast. The youths with wine the copious goblets crowned, and pleased dispensed the flowing bowls around. With hymns divine the joyous banquet ends, the paeans lengthen till the sun descends. The Greeks restore, the grateful notes prolong. Apollo listens and approves the song. 'Twas night, the chiefs beside their vessel lie, till rosy morn had purpled o'er the sky. Then launch and host amassed indulgent gales, supplied by Phoebus fill the swelling sails, the milk-white canvas belling as they blow, the parted ocean foams and roars below. Above the bounding billows swift they flew, till now the Grecian camp appeared in view. Far on the beach they haul their bark to land, the crooked keel divides the yellow sand. Then part where stretched long the winding bay, the ships and tents in the mingled prospect lay. But raging still amidst his navy sat the stern Achilles, steadfast in his hate, nor mixed in combat nor in council joined, but wasting cares lay heavy on his mind, and in his black thoughts revenge and slaughter roll, and scenes of blood rise dreadful in his soul. 12 days were past, and now the dawning light the gods had summoned to the Olympian height. Jove first descending from the watery bowers leads the long order of ethereal powers, when like the morning mist in early day rose from the flood the daughter of the sea, and to the seats divine her flight addressed. There far apart and high above the rest, the thunderer sat where old Olympus shrouds. Suppliant the goddess stood, one hand she placed beneath his beard and one his knees embraced. If e'er, O father of the gods, she said, my words could please thee or my actions aid, some works of honor on my son bestow, and pay in glory what in life you owe. Fame is at least by heavenly promise due, to life so short and now dishonored too. Avenge this wrong, or ever just and wise, let Greece be humbled and the Trojans rise, till the broad king and all the Achaean race shall heap with honors him they now disgrace. Thus Thetis spoke, but Jove in silence held the sacred counsels of his breast concealed. Not so repulsed, the goddess closer pressed, till grasped his knees, then urged the dear request. O sire of gods and men, thy suppliant hear. Refuse or grant, for what has Jove to fear? Or, oh, declare of all the powers above, is the wretched Theseus least the care of Jove? She said, and sighing thus the god replies, who rolls the thunder o'er the vaulted skies. What hast thou asked, why should Jove engage in foreign contest and domestic rage? The gods' complaints and Juno's fierce alarms, while I to partial aid the Trojans' arms. Go, lest the haughty partner of my sway with jealous eyes thy close accents survey. But part in peace, secure thy prayers spread, witness the sacred honors of our head. The nod that ratifies the will divine, the faithful fixed irrevocable sign. This seals thy free suit, and this fulfills thy vows. He spoke, and awful bends his sable brows, shakes his ambrosial curls, and gives the nod, the stamp of fate and sanction of the god. High heaven with trembling the dread signal took, and all Olympus to the center shook. Swift to the seas profound the goddess flies, Jove to starry mansion in the skies. The shining synod of the immortals wait, the coming god, and from the thrones of state, arising silent, wrapped in holy fear, before the majesty of heaven appear. Trembling they stand, while Jove assumes a throne, all but the gods' imperious queen alone. Late had she viewed the silver-footed dame, and call her passions kindled into flame. Say, artful manager of heaven, she cries, who now partakes the secret of the skies. Thy Juno knows not the secrets of fate, in vain the partner of imperial state. What favorite goddess then those cares divides, which Jove in prudence from his consort hides? To this the thunders seek thou not to find, the sacred counsels of Almighty mind. Involved in darkness lies the great decree, nor can the depths of fate be pierced by thee. What fits thy knowledge thou the first shalt know, the first of gods above and men below. But thou, or nor they, shall search the thoughts that roll deep in the close recesses of my soul. Full on the sire, the goddess of the skies, rode the dark lark towards of her majestic eyes, and thus returned austere Saturnius, say, from whence this wrath, or who controls thy sway? Thy boundless will for me remains in force, and all thy counsels take the destined course. But 'tis for Greece I fear for late was seen, in close consort the silver-footed queen. Jove to his thesis nothing could deny, nor was the signal vain that shook the sky. The fatal favor has the goddess won, to grace her fierce, inexorable son. Perhaps in Grecian blood to drench the plain, and glut his vengeance with my people slain. Then thus the god, a restless fate of pride, that drives to learn what heaven resolves to hide. Vain is the search, presumptuous and abhorred, anxious to the end, odious to thy Lord. Let this suffice, immutable decree, no force can shake what is, what thought can be. Goddess, submit, nor dare your will to stand, but dread the power of this avenging hand. The united strength of all the gods above in vain resist the omnipotence of Jove. There the thunder spoke, nor durst the queen reply. A reverent horror silenced all the sky. The feast disturbed with sorrow Vulcan saw, his mother menaced and the gods in awe. Peace at his heart and pleasure his design, thus interposed the architect divine. The wretched quarrels of the mortal state are far unworthy, gods, of your debate. Let men in their days in senseless strife employ, we in eternal peace and constant joy. Thou, goddess mother, with our sorrow comply, nor break the sacred union of the sky, lest roused to rage he shakes the blessed abodes, launch the red lightning and dethrone the gods. If you submit, the thunder stands appeased, the gracious power is willing to be pleased. Thus Vulcan spoke, and rising with a bound, the double bowl with sparkling nectar crowned, which held to Juno in a cheerful way. Goddess, he cried, be patient and obey. Dear as you are, if Jove his arm extend, I can but grieve, unable to defend. What god so daring in your aid to move, or he lift his hand against the force of Jove? Once in your cause I felt his matchless might, hurled him headlong down from ethereal height, tossed all the day in rapid circles round, nor till the sun descend touched the ground. Breathless I fell in giddy motion lost, the Cynthians raised me on the Lemnian coast. He said into her hands the goblet heaved, which with a smile the white-armed queen received. Then to the rest he filled, and in his arms each to his lips applied the nectared urn. Vulcan with awkward grace his office plies, and unextinguished laughter shakes the skies. Thus the blessed gods the genial day prolong, in feats ambrosial and celestial song. Apollo tuned the lyre, the muse round, with voice alternate aid the silver sound. Meantime the radiant sun to mortals' sight, descending swift, rolled down in the rapid light. Then to their starry domes the gods depart, the shining monuments of Vulcan's art. Jove on his couch reclined his awful head, and Juno slumbered on the golden bed.